to work on our weaknesses and to fail here. We are here to fail, we are here to learn, and we are here to again rise. Let me tell you one story of mine. Before 2 years, I was like a hesitant or a shy person. Today, I am still shy. Welcome, Toastmaster Achal.
Thank you for introducing me, presiding officer. Many years ago, there was a sword crafter, and he was known worldwide for his reputation for creating swords which were at a master level. People revered this man. One day, there was a great king who came to hear about the sword crafter. He said, I must meet this man. So the sword crafter came into his court, and he was very humble and gentle. The king, in return, was very gracious and welcoming. The king asked the sword crafter his favorite question whenever he would meet any master of craft. He said, what is the secret to your extraordinary excellence at what you do? The sword crafter replied, it is simple, my lord. He said, ever since I was a young child, I was in love with the art of making swords. It spoke to my head and my logic as well as to my heart at a deep and soulful level. As I grew up, I read books on sword crafting. If something did not have the word sword in it, if it did not look like a sword, if it had nothing to do with the art of sword crafting, I did not spend my time on it. That is the secret to my mastery. Fellow Toastmasters and dear guests, this was the sword crafter's parable of productivity. Productivity means high output for a given input. It leads to not just having dreams and goals, but getting things done and achieving them. But how do we make sure that we are heading in the right direction and getting the most out of our days? The answer to that is the ACT. The ACT or ACT of productivity are three realistic and key elements which can turn all dreamers into achievers. The first leg, or the A, stands for action. We live in a world where so many of us are pulled in many different directions. The only way you can win in your work and in your personal life and look back and say, you know what, I was a master, is if you devote yourself to focusing on the new things which are really important, to take action on the right things and to not act on things which are not important is what's required to become productive. Being selective about what action we spend our time on is difficult, but it is a deciding factor on how productive you are going to be. Before we get to the rest of the act, please let me explain the agenda for the meeting for the benefit of our guests. The meeting is divided into 3 sessions. The first one is the prepared speech session. The second one is the table topic speech session. And the last is the evaluation or the feedback section. Before we begin, let us get introduced to the role players who will be facilitating the meeting today. The first one is our Sergeant at Arms for the day, Toastmaster Sandeep, who you heard from a little while ago. Now I'd like to invite the timer for the day, Toastmaster Umesh, to explain his role. Toastmaster Umesh, are you there? Please unmute yourself. You're not audible.
Hello. Hello, Toastmaster of the day. Thank you for your kind introduction. Today, I am playing the role of timer. As we all know, when we are speaking about the productivity, it's always about the productivity and efficiency. And efficiency always depends on the time and our productivity. So, if you want to be efficient, if you want to improve your efficiency, you want to always focus on your time. So I am playing the role of timer today. and I am checking the time taken by every person and every role player and every speaker. So I am going to show you the green card when minimum time allotted reached by speaker or role player. Then I am going to show the yellow card when midway or mid allotted time or range reached. After that, when you reach to the final time of your speech or your role, then I am going to show you the red card. And you have a buffer time of 30 seconds. So make your use your time importantly and do your best and be efficient. Thank you. Over to Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Umesh. I'd like to invite Toastmaster Hitesh to explain his role in today's meeting, that of the Ah counter for the day.
Good afternoon, all fellow Toastmasters. So today my role is I am playing the role of the AHA counter. Sorry, are you? Are you able to see me?
Yes.
Yeah. So today I am going to play a role of the AHA counters, where I will be observing all of you, and end of the session I will be presenting my report. I will be showing the data about each and every participants who are presenting their speeches, and in the end of my session I will be summarizing my report.
Thank you, Toastmaster Hitesh. I'd like to next invite Toastmaster Praveen to explain the role of the Grammarian.
Good afternoon, Anchal. Thank you for introducing me. And good afternoon, Mr. President, fellow Toastmasters, and my dear guest. As a grammarian for today's meeting, my role will be to closely monitor and meticulously note all the uses of good as well as bad or as well as not so good uses of the English language words. And it is also my privilege to share the word of the day and idiom of the day for today's meeting. So can someone confirm if my screen is visible?
Yes, you are visible.
Screen.
No, not to me. Timers
Yes, the
are
white
visible.
screen being shared by Toastmaster
Okay.
Hitesh.
Okay, I'm just doing it. So yeah. So the word of the day for today's meeting is a word of the day is commensurate, which means corresponding in size and degree. The usage is we offer a competitive salary commensurate to the experience, and the distributor should be able to provide sales staff commensurate to the expected volume of business. The idiom of the day for the today's meeting is of one's rocker. The meaning is crazy, silly, insane, and the usage is he must be off his rocker paying that much for a shirt and spend £1,000 on a dress. Are you off your rocker? Okay, so with this, I leave the floor open for all of us and let us make use these word of the day and idiom of the day as many as time as possible. So over to you, Toastmaster of the day, Anchal. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster and Grammarian Ravi. Next, I'd like to invite Toastmaster Akanksha to explain the role of the ALQ Master.
Very good afternoon to masters and distinguished. So today my role would be to check whether you are actively listening in the meeting or not. So at the end of the meeting, I'll ask you a few questions and you answer these questions. That will test your listening skill. Over to you, Toastmaster Anchal.
Thank you, Toastmaster Akanksha. Last but never the least, please help me welcome Toastmaster Vanitha, the General Evaluator for today's meeting.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day, Toastmaster Anshul, for the introduction.
Hobby, that is cooking.
So, about my family, my father is a businessman and my mother is a housewife. So actually, I am a single child of my parents. So I am a sort of overprotective child from my childhood onwards. And I was very stubborn. I remembered my childhood memories when my father came to his shop and he was very tired. And I just insisted him to play with me and go with me somewhere. And like he played around 2 hours every day with me, whether he was tired or not. So that's I remembered. And after that, like I have completed my schooling from Shupri. I got a very good score in my 10th and 12th. Then after completion of schooling, I decided to do the engineering. So for that, I gave the exam and I got a very good score in that. So I got my first college, that was in Indore. So it almost like 12 hours journey from my hometown. Earlier I was very happy, yeah, my life will change and I have to.
Our next speaker for the day is Toastmaster Sanjukta. I'd like to invite her evaluator, Toastmaster Dhaval, to explain the objectives of the speech.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Anchal. Am I audible and visible?
Yes.
Yes, you are.
Okay, thank you. So the purpose of this project for Toastmaster Sanjukta is for member to identify his or her primary leadership style or styles. And the purpose of the speech is for member to share some aspect of his or her primary leadership style or discuss the leadership styles in general. The time allotted for the speech would be 5 to 7 minutes. I wish Toastmaster Sanjukta all the very best for the speech. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Dhaval. Toastmaster Sanjukta, building blocks, my way of leading. Building blocks, my way of leading. Toastmaster Sanjukta.
Okay, Toastmaster of the day, before I start off, I would like to do a few things. I would request Toastmaster Umesh, yes, I can see him now. I will pin his video. I cannot pin his video. Okay, I would request everyone and except for probably my evaluator and Toastmaster Umesh to switch off your videos. That way it would help me because when I share my screen, I can only see some of the videos. Let me know if you can see my screen. I would request everyone else other than Toastmaster Umesh and my evaluator to switch off your videos, please. Earnest request.
Your screen is visible, Sanjukta, yes.
Thank you. Yes, now I would just request Toastmaster of the day to please announce the speech title once more.
Sure. Toastmaster Sanjukta, building blocks, my way of leading. Building blocks, my way of leading. Toastmaster Sanjukta.
A newspaper obituary. MMDD 20YY. That's the date. We are here to inform you that Sanjukta has left to party at a different realm, so and so. She had led a interesting life, so and so, so on, so forth. How many times have we heard this, that somebody has led her good life or his good life? That's been the gauging for anyone who has departed, right? He had led a wonderful, exemplary life. We say that. So the key is leading your life. And that, to me, is leadership. All the other enablers that you see in my screen, they only help you to become a better leader, which is already in you. And my story today are those building blocks, my different steps to my own way of leading. It starts with a very small story, which is in a very closed state. That's in my home, where I am surrounded by the people who've known me since I have existed. And each of these people, each of these persons or entities, they are aligned to my way of living. What I do here is I take my own decisions. I am accountable. I do it my way. If somebody's visiting at this moment at my home, I would have my ways of showing my hospitality to them, to leading them to do things, where what is, how to do what. So what am I doing here? Here I am being authoritative. And me being me, if you know somebody who tries to come into my bar, I am bureaucratic there. So it is according to the hierarchy, only the head bartender can do so. So these are my leadership quality in my small realm. Now, when Sanjukta moves up into a broader spectrum, what comes up next is my circle of friends, my community, the small circle of Karate Toastmasters Club, or my society. What do I do there? There are many such initiatives that we have to take up. So there I become a person who is a team player. I get on with it. I start talking to people. I start doing things. That is where I become cohesive. And the leadership that comes up is affiliative and pace setting also. I'll give you an example. When our society was formed, I was the first secretary of this society. I had no idea what it had in store for me. And I had to set along with a team who were also new to this whole game of cooperative management. We had to set up certain norms, certain guidelines. And the pace setting attitude was very much key. I couldn't be dominant. I had to seek help. I had to seek ideas. And that's how it is. I'm sorry. Yes, okay, I can see the timer now. So going back to my speech, I'm moving up my realm. This is the most important realm for all of us. What do we do here? We spend about 10 to 12 hours of our everyday life. This is our workplace or where we work. Here, I have also evolved, and to commensurate the kind of things that I do, my leadership style also evolves. So when I was a project manager, I had a team of people. Even when I was the presiding officer of Karate Toastmasters Club, I had a team of leaders. I had to be cohesive. I had to talk to each one of you to get your ideas, to get this club going, to get the project to attain its goals. What I did there was I was altruistic, democratic, and affiliative. Now, altruistic means that you personalize your goals, you personalize your approach to take out the best in others. What happened next is you get into a spectrum, you interact with the community, and you commensurate your leadership style with the communion you're in. And what came next is the community of Toastmasters. It went into about 35 members in a club, or even a community where you were into district conferences, you were meeting leaders, you were meeting people who were looking up to you, how you perform, what are you doing as the sergeant at arms in eloquence, how you are putting yourself on. And then you realized that when you became the immediate past president, that it's no longer you are going to do things. Or when I became an account manager from a project manager, I would no longer be on the ground. So then I had to start coaching. I had to start advising. And that is when I would become a leader who practices coaching, is democratic. I would still be cohesive and a team player and affiliative. Now, this is how life moves on. And it can bring you to different realms. What you need to do is then you would have to move on to change your leadership style. What I'll show you in the next style is how I have evolved in Toastmasters, and it is a quantifiable change. Since I had the privilege of using Pathways twice now, you can see what I have or what I was in the last year and what I am right now. So you see, my friends, leadership is something which is already there in you. You just need to imbibe it. Two things you have to remember. As a leader, you always have to learn and unlearn. You need to be collaborative and competitive, but never be disruptive or achieving. Affiliative is what should prevail. Over to the Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sanjukta, for so clearly explaining your ways of leading in different walks of life. It was definitely commensurate to how we view you in our community. Our next speaker is Toastmaster Sukamal. I'd like to invite his evaluator, Toastmaster Swapnil, to explain the objectives of the speech.